gentlemen of heavy metal history, we're welcoming back two guests and a brand new guest. First off, we're going to welcome Seb Alvarez to the podcast of Meth. Seb, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. And then welcoming back, we got Jimmy, and we got Drew of See You Next Tuesday. Gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. Thank you for doing this again.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
for
us,
having us.
man.
Yeah, so
Appreciate it.
we're gonna talk about this dope fucking split you guys did with Red Chord and Meth. Seemingly, I mean, for me, came out of nowhere, but I do think Drew, weren't you kind of talking about something like this last time we spoke about like having some new stuff
Yeah,
come out?
yeah, honestly, Jimmy and I kind of started the whole process for this record back in January.
Okay.
Relapses hadn't even came out yet, and him and I kind of had this whole idea of like recording drums and like we haven't even really extrapolated the idea yet. It was just like we want to do something kind of musical chairs-ish.
Yeah.
And I drove down to his house in Columbus and kind of like packed up as much of my studio as I could move, on my laptop and my interface and shit. And just we mic'd up his drum kit in his basement, which is just this tiny carpeted room with a drop ceiling. So it's fucking a perfect little drum room. And yeah, man, we recorded like 15 minutes worth of just Jimmy doing different drum patterns and yeah, blasting his dick off and gravity
Yeah,
rolling his
Jesus.
butt off and yeah, so it wasn't until like what, fucking May before I talked to you, Seb.
When was it? I think it was end of March, even, because I was in the East Coast when I remember when we were talking, and I have not.
Okay.
It would have been around then, I think, but I think we just kind of discussed it, and then it was like, yeah, May was kind of when it was like, okay, this is gonna be,
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
Because we left for tour in the middle of April. And I remember I had drums and guitars and basses already tracked because
Oh,
I wrote our three songs by April. And then it was just a matter of like getting ours over to Seb and then Andrew from Meth, obviously, he did the same thing and wrote a bunch of I'm not sure how Andrew came up with his parts. I know he recorded them and sent them to me edited, and I was able to just work with that. So,
Yeah, I think
do
he
you have any
just
ideas, Seb?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he just like sat and just tracked ideas that he had just for like general like structure and
Yeah,
everything. And then
and just
I'm
kind
not
of
sure.
scooched it together.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not 100% sure if he like took different parts from different things or if it was all just like one go. I think it was just one go, but
Oh, cool.
yeah, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
we have some sections like that. Mostly, it was just um, like I said, it was like 7 minutes worth of like, a blast on a China and a blast on a ride and then some fills. And Jimmy did do some jamming and stuff, like the end of the first track. He was doing like some fucking 311 beat.
I'm the only person in grindcore history that put two 311 beats in grindcore songs.
There
noted right here on
it
the History
Tell
is.
Podcast.
311, please, so they can
Yeah,
take us on tour.
you have this weird amberish glow around you, Jimmy.
It's the
Ooh.
color of my energy, baby.
Uh, Jimmy, I don't think I actually asked you this last time we were talking, but as far as like your drumming style and how you learned to drum and everything, do you remember the first time you like figured out the technique for a gravity blast and you were just like, well, shit, now I got to do this forever, right?
Um, I actually don't remember when I kind of figured that out.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, it was before my time with See Next Tuesday, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was probably within the last 10 years. Because I was adding it into, other bands that I was in and playing with and stuff. But I remember when I figured it out, I was like, this is really cool. And I didn't figure it out on a drum.
Hmm.
I figured it out with a pencil and the side of my desk at work.
Dude, I used to do that in
Dang.
high school all the time. Just like sitting, just like gravity with
Yeah.
like a pen or pencil. Yeah.
And I don't know what year it was or anything, but I mean it was, I haven't been in the office for almost 5 years now. So it was well before that. So it's like I say, within the last 10 years. And I could just remember kind of just like sitting there and I was air drummed at my desk at work. And then I think I just kind of like figured it out and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then I took it
Hmm.
and applied it to my drums and I'm like, shit, I could do this on every drum if I wanted to.
Oh
But
shit, Drew's the
yeah,
space.
that's like my favorite thing to do. My skin on my hands don't love it all the time, but it's like my favorite thing to do. I love
Yeah, I feel
watching
like
We
John
it's
Longstreth do it, so
oh yeah, Jesus. He's a great drummer.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's
we
one of those
def
things that's kind of like faded out now in a lot of metal bands, or they opt for like the fake, kind of MIDI drums or whatever, which is fine, but man, the sound of a
yeah,
real
yeah.
gravity blast is, I fucking love it.
It's kind of coming back though. Like a lot of slam bands are doing it because
Hmm.
you can have like a slow part. It's just like dum dum dum, bump bump bump.
Yeah,
But like Peeling Flesh and like Party Cannon and shit like that. I hear it a lot on those types of records, but
it's
not a
true.
ton of grime bands do it, which is weird because it's fucking fast as shit. So why not?
Yeah. So Seb, man, when you kind of came into the fold on this kind of dual project here, what was your like kind of mindset going into it of like contributing to these songs and everything?
Um, I I was pretty stoked. Like, just with here, Drew, after we had had our initial phone call, sent us like the drum tracks that Jimmy had. And I was listening to those and I was just like, man, like it has been like I haven't written music like that in a really long time. And so it was just like really cool to kind of like hear it and just be like, all right, like we get to write over like fucking gravity blasts and kind of get to revisit some of those like fucking weird um our the first EP that we did was like it's like a 5 song 3 minute thing, so it was like we have like a little bit of like roots in just some of that weird grindy style, and it was like we just haven't been able to like we just haven't gone that direction like
Right.
since then, so it was really nice to just be like, all right, like we can just do this and we can get like fucking stupid with it and have fun with this shit, like so um, I was pretty stoked. And then just also too on the flip of that, like knowing that they're writing over some of Andrew's our drummer stuff as well. It was like I was like really curious just to hear like a full piece of just like slower works from Tuesday as well. So it's just like I feel like it kind of forced both of our hands to just be like, oh, we're writing some like each thing is gonna just feel different coming from both sides. So it wasn't just like, okay, like our drummers kind of play like a similar way. So it's gonna kind of have like that same like feel through it. It's like I really like
Not at
how,
all.
yeah, I was gonna say like I really love how different all of it just feels, especially as just a full piece of work as well.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised that Andrew threw in some blast beats for us. I was like,
Oh
all
yeah.
right. But it was funny because before I even got their tracks back, I already had it in my head. I'm like, it's gonna have to be some sort of like stoner doom vibe is my goal. That's all I had in my head. I didn't even like pick out tones or anything or just I didn't even hear the drums yet. I knew that it was going to be fuzzed out guitars and have definitely some like stony Black Sabbath vibes.
Yeah, dude, I fucking the whole time I was just like, I think it's the second song, on, or it's Visions of Lifelessness, but that was the one that I like wrote the guitars on for that side of the split, and it was just
Mhm.
like, dude, like let's get fucking just weird panic chords and just like these weird just
Yep.
bits of noise. And then I remember like sending guitars to Zach, and then there's like a little section where there's like these like I think I just did like a half step down dual panic chord thing, and then Zach just throws in this like fucked up bass like rhythm that I was just like, I didn't even know. Okay, this just came out of fucking nowhere. I did not expect you to like do this fucking thing, and it was just still like it was just really fun to just kind of piece it all together. And I think the whole time too, we were just like, let's just have fun with this. Like, let's not like overanalyze it. Let's just see what kind of comes out. And I think, yeah, it just was.
It's crazy because your guys' three songs over Jimmy's drums have such like as the sun sets vibes to me.
Ah,
Like your voice with that blasting just like already is like on par with as the sun sets. But yeah, like the dual panic chords and shit, yeah,
Yeah.
100%. It
Yeah, I was
worked
just
out. It
literally
worked out so well.
I was like, you need more like the bullshit
Yep.
and shit like that. Like, let's fucking roll. Yeah,
Yep.
just stab me in the gut like a bunch of times. Like, fuck yeah.
So much fun.
yeah. I was gonna say it seems like the best part about a project like this is just the not having to worry about it being sounding like one band or the other, and just having that freedom to like let's just see what happens when these two things get together and working around that.
Yeah.
So when you were writing all the guitar stuff, was this during the relapse writing period or like after it?
After.
Okay.
So we finished relapses. Oh man, when was that? Maybe like the end of summer of 23 is when
Yeah,
we
Oh
because
got
wow.
I
like,
recorded in June.
yeah, because we did some songs and then we had a bunch of other artists. And one of the last things to get done too was like the Frontier track because
Yeah.
him and I kind of were bouncing that back and forth. And uh, s- um, Ped from Frontier is in a different time, like 5 hour different time zone. So all of our communication was like once a day in the mornings for me, which was like, afternoon for him and shit. So, um, but yeah, that was all wrapped up by the end of summer and it didn't come out until February.
Yeah,
Because
that's
we
right.
did the whole singles, put a single out in November and all that bullshit. And yeah, it was January when I went down to Jimmy's and the project started with me recording those drums at his house.
Okay.
And then
Yeah, we
from
did
there,
we did almost 2 full days of ideas, like just
Damn.
laying ideas down.
yeah.
And
And
then
we walked away with uh maybe 15 or so minutes of music. And we switched out his snare drum halfway through
Hmm.
as well. So I actually have some other drum tracks that are just kind of sitting around for the next project, I guess.
Dude, that's
What
always the
was
best. The little
what was the reasoning
reservoir.
for Oh, sorry, man.
Oh no, no, that's all. You're good. You're good. I got nothing. I just
I was
ignored
gonna
him.
No, no, no. There's a little bit of a delay sometimes, and I start a thought, and I'm like, wait, no, they're talking. Stop talking.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning for swapping out the snare? Just like a different tune on it?
yeah,
Uh,
sort of. Well,
Sort of.
there definitely is a difference in the snares that we chose because
oh yeah,
the
hugely.
the snare that we used on this recording was a 13-inch Tama Star Classic maple snare,
Hmm.
and the other snare that we used is a
But
14-inch DW snare.
yeah, but the big thing is the heads because it's the stuff for asymmetrics. He used one of those like marching snare heads. It's like Kevlar. So
Okay.
that's where that crack comes from. And then the other set of drums was one of those little piccolo snares, like the real thin ones. And what did you put on that? The HE, the high energy.
Yeah, yeah.
So we kind of got more of like your classic death metal sound out of that sound, like real pingy type of snare. And honestly, like the project started, yeah, there's the
Aha.
high energy.
Looks
Um,
fresh.
It is
honestly, like
fresh.
going into the project, going into sitting at his house, I made like this notepad on my phone, and I just had a bunch of like random thoughts written down, like blasting 7/8 with an accent on seven on the ride, stuff like that, or
Mhm.
random like triplet gravity rolls. And I just had like all these ideas. And I came to his house. We actually recorded the stuff with the pie snare, so the ping snare first, and we ran like this gambit of all my ideas. And that was supposed to be what the project was going to be. And then the next day, we finished a couple of my ideas and we switched out this. He was like, I want to just jam some stuff and, just lay down some random shit. And I was like, yeah, let's just fucking go. So we decided then, like, let's switch the snare so I know it's the stuff that you wrote versus the stuff I wrote or whatever. And yeah, so we switched it to his Kevlar snare, which is that's the 13 inches, the one that he uses live.
Mhm.
And yeah, he just kind of jammed. That's where like the 311 shit came from. And then I was just like, okay, Jimmy, just do like a measure of, blasting and a measure of ride blasting, the typical stuff you would need to like compose a song.
Yeah.
And then I went home and started working on, this is me working on it,
Yeah.
editing.
Yeah.
And I started editing the two sessions, and like right off the bat, even though I composed, like I put together the ideas for the other session of drums,
Mhm.
like right off the bat, I started hearing like guitar parts. That 311 one was one of the first that really like kind of came into my head. And then the fill that started the second song, that heaviest burden, that little like all those bells and shit that he threw in there. But yeah, so like I could already hear like ideas, so I just kind of rolled with that, and yeah, it worked out.
It's got to be nice just making up and like hearing all these sounds in your head and giving them to Jimmy and knowing that he can just automatically get them out for you.
Yeah,
I'll
well, I mean, Jimmy and I've been working together for what, like 3 years now?
yeah.
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 We got the drum communication thing down pretty well. Like he understands my stupid talk, and if it comes to it, we'll make some chugga chugga sounds.
We can
So,
speak and drum to each
yeah,
other.
Yeah, for sure.
you guys just sit there in a little circle and just like tap on the drums to each other. Got your own
So we'll
little.
do that sometimes at shows, like when we're warming up, he'll be like, okay, let's do this song. And we'll just be like, tick, 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 tick. And he'll be like, and we'll just like, we'll mouth band it like right before we go on for
I
something.
thought you were gonna make a Meth CD release party joke because he was like talking about a drum circle, and you're like, yeah, we do that every once in a while, when Meth releases a record called Shame, and we decide to have a fucking drum circle.
Let's
That was the
go.
coolest shit ever, though.
Yeah, that
Hey,
shit fucking
It was.
that's a good segue if I could monopolize Seb for a minute. Because
Yeah,
man, I want to
Take
say
him.
Meth and the new album you guys put out this year is it's in my top 10 this year, like by far, dude. I
thank
I
you.
um I fucking love it. It's heavy, it's angry, it's dirty, all those adjectives that
sad.
you can use in between there.
It's unshowered for sure.
Unshowered.
It's shameful.
Yeah.
Burp.
Aw. No,
Uh,
my favorite thing though too is like the juxtaposition of your guys' like aesthetic versus the music you play. I
oh.
fucking love that so much, man, because you're the promo photo of you guys all in the flowers in the field and it's not what metal bands look like, right?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of that came from if you're familiar with the band Throbbing Gristle.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, like they're just like this really fucking awesome, just weird noise band from like the late 70s. And one of their album covers is them at Beachy Head in the UK. which is like a cliff that like a lot of people would go and like uh jump off and like die by suicide and
Okay.
everything. And
Jesus.
like but they like took these like really just nice pictures in front, and the album was called 20 Jazz Funk Greats. So like people when they're scrolling through like vinyl and everything, they would see that, just be like, oh, like I wonder what this is, and they put it on, and it's just like this extremely like just super bizarre, just noise, really interpretive record. And I always really liked that, just that process and that thought of just like you have this image and this just kind of look that's like really inviting, and then like you kind of just get like hit over the head with like a reality check of what it is that you're actually like looking into in a way. And
Yeah.
I really kind of, that was our nod to them, and in a lot of ways was just like the ideas that kind of came out of a lot of like that like weird British industrial just scene in general. I've always been like kind of fascinated with it. But then also on the other side of that too, it's like us as people in a lot of ways too. I'm like, we're all just like fucking stupid, dumb guys. Like we're all really, I feel like I think we're all really just like friendly people. And but we just make this really like just this really aggressive, very just, I mean, very pure emotion of just like anger and loss and stuff. But it's like that's just, we're not just that, as well. So
Right.
it's just kind of like it just, I don't know, it leaned more into fun and just kind of like letting loose, but then having that like weird, just yeah, the juxtaposition of like what the record actually is as well. And it's like meant to just kind of feel jarring and feel like a little bit uncomfortable too, like when you're looking at it, where you're just like, I don't know what this is, and I kind of like creeped out a bit. So
I,
it's
I
kind of
I
what we're
will
going
s-
for.
I will say too that like having that outlet to be to like exercise your sadness and anger and stuff like that, because we're the same way. Like,
Mhm.
you listen to our music, it's fucking ridiculous, and it's it's mad and it's chaotic, and like it's because I have that outlet to write this crazy ass fucking shit that I am happy in my real life,
Yeah.
and
It's
that
like I
I
don't have
am.
to, you don't have to carry it with you. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like it was funny because I just saw a video before this that was like it was talking about that very thing where it's like people within the metal scene are generally the most accepting and happy people because like they get to go to shows and fucking scream their guts out. Like how often does the dipshit at a bank that has a bad day and goes home to his shitty wife or whatever, like and they listen to country and shit where it's just singing about having a good time that they're not actually having. Whereas like metal music, we're talking about fucking killing each other and shit and maiming people. And then you get to just get out of work and kiss your wife and go out to dinner and have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point because you're kind of using that as the fuel for like getting this out and, putting it into music and everything. And I I definitely think that's a great thing for sure. Especially, we're all artists here, so it's just like that's our only outlet, man. Is
Yeah.
this
Hell yeah.
weird thing that
At
we
the
call
end of
heavy
the
metal.
day, we're just all cutie pies that sit at Denny's at 1 a.m. and share cheeseburgers together.
That's the
That
truth.
that is kind of just what this whole thing is anyway. It's just an excuse
Yep.
to go to Denny's.
To go to Denny's in a random city in
Yeah.
fucking the Midwest.
I've been doing it wrong this
That's
whole
what led to
time,
this.
man. Oh
Yeah.
man. It's a good
I don't
point.
know. I
Good
guess
point.
Ronnie Radke probably has fucking hookers and below, but he's a
Probably does,
dipshit. So
man.
Yeah. Fuck. That's just like a whole side of music I wish I didn't know
I'm not
existed.
even sure what that is. Yeah,
Yeah, I have no fucking idea. Like
it's definitely not art. Let's put it that way. Like it
that's
Yeah.
could, like you could play that music for me and tell me it was made by AI, and I wouldn't contest it.
It might be,
dude,
dude.
we
You know what I
have
mean?
I know too much falling in reverse just from being in the van because we have this fucking playlist that we just punish each other with. So it's just
Oh
shit that
God.
like, we all just love listening. I mean, I genuinely do love listening to just like really shitty music, but there's just like certain points with that where I'm just like, I can't fucking deal with this. And it's just like, but that's half the fun too.
It
You're punishing yourself, but your friends are getting punished with you, and it's just like that joy and mutual suffering.
it's funny because like 95% of what I listen to while delivering mail at work is fucking gore grind, which is literally just like fucking noise and a pingy snare. And that's it. But it's like
Yeah.
rhythm and it keeps me going, I guess. I don't know. I can't get enough of it.
Yeah, it's kind of weird when you have somebody that has like a shitty ass personality like that dude, and then he just makes like this generic poppy metal that appeals to a bunch of people, man.
Everyone, fucking
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. But he will be the first to tell you that they're popular.
Yeah.
If you've ever come across that dude's fucking social media.
I've not, luckily enough.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
you're not missing anything. You should just go through the Iron Sheik's Twitter instead.
Yeah,
Yes.
it basically is. It's just fucking rage bait. That's all it is. It's
Yeah.
just
They'll just
fucking
call him a poser
Yeah.
or a
yeah.
jabroni.
Honestly, if you tagged him in a video of us talking about him, he 100% would stitch it and talk shit on us.
Yep. That's
Like
wow.
he's that dude. Like I've seen videos of him like responding to comments on his video. No, he was on TikTok and he was searching his hashtag on Twitter and was coming across random people talking shit on Twitter about him. And he would make videos and stitch them. It was ridiculous. Just not petty at all. Like, come on,
No,
dude.
not at
I
all.
get it. You're too rich for friends.
Man, wish I had that kind of time. Just sit on social media
Yeah,
and
right.
fuck with everybody that has something bad to say.
Honestly, I'm very thankful I don't.
Yeah.
I'm very
You know,
glad. Like it's times like those where I remember that being really busy, between work and life and music and fucking everything, that I don't have to have like a shitty hobby like that to keep myself sane.
yeah, going back to what we were just talking about, man, like using all of that anger and like dissatisfying feelings of hopelessness and whatever and putting it towards something like that, man. I've found myself kind of more and more like spreading myself thin, but on purpose into all these different projects, like,
Hmm.
just putting everything I can into it just so I can ignore how shitty everything is and use my anger towards that.
Yeah.
And I haven't done that in a long time, and it's nice to kind of feel that way again, I guess.
Yeah,
You know what
there's
they
nothing
say,
quite like
idle
fucking
idle hands.
Yeah.
yeah. Just having all those yeah, when you're just like spread thin like that too, it's like you don't even have time to like
No.
fucking process like anything that isn't just what your projects and shit are. And it's just like I don't even fucking care about like
Yeah.
what else is going on. And it's like
But as long as
that
you maintain um you maintain being busy with stuff that still makes you happy.
Right.
Like
yeah.
in the end of all this, like fuck it, I don't care. I need to get something done. Like when something happens, like we release this really cool record, it's
Hmm.
like, man, that was all that was worth it.
Yeah, the Seb, when you were starting to work on your stuff,
Mhm.
did you write the lyrics for your parts, or was it already stuff that they had that you had to sing over?
It was all
Uh
that guy.
no,
Okay, cool.
I wrote all the
I figured
stuff.
as much. I just wanted to make sure.
Oh yeah. Uh yeah, it's just fucking just was just a mush of brain, I think, at that point too. That
Yeah.
was what, August, I think was when we were like really hammering everything out and
Yeah, yeah.
like Meth had just toured like we had been touring from like February and just gotten back from Europe in July, and I went on vacation with my girlfriend and stuff like shortly after, and it was just like came back, had like a week to just kind of process what was the last like 6 months of the year, and then it was like we need to fucking hammer these songs out like
Yeah,
and just dive in and like yeah, just lyrically with a lot of the stuff, it was just processing a lot of like just a lot of change in my life at that time, like all of the side of Rabbit's Nest, like the songs that are just like our songs on that side with like Andrew's drumming. Um, like it's just like a weird way for me to like process like leaving like my job of like 10 years like a couple months before and just kind of like dealing with all of that. Then the other side is just like just it's just fucking like mind to paper, just processing like as much of whatever my emotions were in those times, and just like fucking like I don't know, I kind of felt like I was going crazy for a little bit of that, but it translates well, or like I felt like it translated well into the music where it's just
For
like
sure.
um yeah, it's just like I don't know, like whenever I'm trying to write stuff, it's just like I'm usually just trying to like take whatever I'm really feeling and just letting my brain kind of just go straight to paper and not think like I don't want to overanalyze myself, and I feel like there's just like a certain amount of like there's like a purity to that in a way, even if like the shit just really kind of makes sense to me, and like I'm never really trying to be like completely direct with what I'm saying. And yeah, I don't know, it was just like this project was just like super, it was super fun, and it was just like it was just
Mhm.
cool how everything like I felt very like on a time constraint as well, so it just like forces you to like have like these other ideas or to like make these quick decisions on things as well. And
Yeah.
um I think just yeah, just as an exercise and everything, it's just yeah, it was just a really cool process.
Yeah, it was kind of similar for me too, like the tracks where I was doing stuff over Andrews.
yeah.
Um, the second track, was it Pulled from Flesh, the one that has like all the fucking blues licks in it.
Yeah.
Um, that track, like I just couldn't fucking write. I had the other two songs written, so like I just did like scratch guitar tracks, you know. And then I was just like, I can't just I'm running out of time. So like I
Mhm.
started setting up mics and getting my guitar cab mic'd up and started throwing down bass and actually tracking the song. And by the time I got circled back to that song, I literally was tracking that as I was writing it. Like I just sat
Damn.
down one day and was like, okay, we're in A minor. Let's fucking do. You know, like I literally was like sitting down, pad of paper and pen, and like, writing out. I wrote down the notes of A minor and A harmonic minor, and we're just like, okay, if I do stuff here and here and here, and then I would track it, and that was literally it. I wrote that whole song in pretty much a day. The only thing that I had written prior was the pick scrapes in the beginning of the song.
Oh fuck yeah.
And actually, the very end of the song, I didn't even have that written when Billy from Nights Like These came up to my house and recorded the vocals with Fox. Because he was coming up for a tattoo, and like Fox started just kind of pitched the idea to him, and they just showed up at my house and was like, "Oh hell yeah!" I didn't even have that end done. I just knew that it was gonna. I just kind of like did a chug pattern and was just that da 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 da
Yeah.
da da, and just had that pattern. I didn't actually figure out what I was going to do or anything until after they threw the vocals down. And I had them do different variations of the vocals and kind of just pieced it together after during the mix down of that song. So I understand, but like, because I was so pushed into a corner with time where it was just like, I'm out of time. This is what I got to do. I got to do something right now. It really makes your brain start spitting shit out.
Yeah. Like I
Thankfully,
feel like
all of it's awesome. Like every
Yeah.
single track on this was fucking killer.
yeah, it's like I
Yeah,
feel
it's
like that
furious.
always forces like it just I don't know what it is about just like that weird just like waiting till the last minute for like a deadline or something. But like I found that like my whole fucking life too, where it's just like as soon as like you start doing whatever, it's like everything's coming out right now. So like it like kind of triggers a lot of the creativity in a lot of different ways as
Hmm.
well. Um, but I mean there is still something to be said too about like obviously being able to take your time with shit as well and like being able to like really like there's there's no right way to fucking approach anything. It's just like interesting to see the results. Like
Especially because didn't shame you guys write over a long period of time.
yeah, that took a I think the oldest song on there was from like we finished before the pandemic.
Oh shit.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And
so
like
it's
that's so like and distractions was similar with me. Like I wrote that coming out of COVID. I think it took me around 18 months to finish that whole album.
yeah.
So like both of us coming out of a project where we took our fucking sweet time on everything, then going into something where it's like, all right, 3 weeks, let's write
Yeah.
let's write something. But it was cool because like in order to make you heard the secret tracks, right? Where
No,
it's
I
like
don't think
both
so.
songs. No,
I
at the end of Circum and at the end of Ascend.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Yeah, it goes silent for a minute, right? And then it goes into the
Yeah.
next thing. Yes, I did. Okay. I was wondering
Okay.
what was up
So
with that. I was like, that's weird. What's that silence there for?
yeah, well, there's actually like some flies. You can hear some flies buzzing
Oh,
on my side. On the other side, because there's two EPs. I
okay.
don't know if you heard. Uh, I don't know. So there's the EP that's all Jimmy's drums, and then there's the
Yeah.
EP that's all Meth's drums. So at the end of Ascend, which is the 12th track, or the end of the second EP, it does the same thing where there's like Seb had this little like synth thing for like 20 seconds or whatever.
Hmm.
Anyway, so what it is we took the drums because each set of our songs, the one rule that we could have made sure we have was we don't alter the drums in any way as far as speed, tempo, timing, or rearranging or anything. So like when I sent him my drum tracks, those were what he had. Like you couldn't make a space longer, you couldn't add more of a part. Like the drum tracks could not be touched.
Yeah.
So that was the structure of the song. But because of that, we were able to do those secret tracks, which is we're playing both of the songs simultaneously in each ear. So like in the left ear, you hear Just See You Next Tuesday's music and
Okay.
vocals. And then in the right ear, you hear just Meth's music and vocals, but the drums are mixed in a stereo field.
Shit.
It's really weird. Like listen to it, put headphones on and listen to
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
sometime soon.
that's how I listened to it, but I guess I just I did not pick up on that at all.
Yeah, it's weird, like because the drums are the same for both sides,
Yeah.
and it's just so loud and fast and stuff. Like it kind of melds well.
Yeah.
But then, like on the other side, on the Meth side with Andrew's drums, there's literally parts because you guys are in C, right?
Yeah, drop C.
Drop C, and we're
Yeah.
in drop A. So A and C are a minor third apart,
Hmm.
or a diminished interval, right? So there's like literally parts like at the end of what's your guys' first track?
Guest.
Guest. Yeah,
Yeah.
at the end of Guest, where you're just riding on that one note for like the
Mhm.
second half of the song. It gets to a part where I'm like riding on this a similar type of thing, and we're a minor third apart from each other, and it really has a cool vibe to it, even though we're totally doing different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always thought that
Did
was
it?
really cool how some of those just like some of the hits and shit just like completely fucking land at the same times too, and like our impact points are
Yep.
like really similar at different times, and it
My
I
my
yeah
favorite my favorite part is um our first track and your guys' first track on the Jimmy drum side. So what is it? The Circum and shit, I can't remember the first track's title. I smoke too much weed.
You're
Anyway,
fine. I can pull it up.
the end of that song, Jimmy does that kind of like 311 beat, that do do do, and they they follow the snare drum and I follow the kick drum. So when you listen to them together, every time the snare hits, it's louder on the right side, and every time the kicks hit, it's louder on the left side, and it has a really cool bouncing back and forth effect to it. But yeah,
Sweet. Okay,
I love
sorry. I
how
was pulling that up real quick.
yeah, we perfectly like wrote the opposite of each other.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I didn't. I didn't really get too much into like what kind of guitars you're playing and stuff like that. So you mentioned different tunings, so like having to write around that and mix around that, like what was like I guess the hardest part of like doing that? Like you obviously have music theory knowledge somewhat, it seems like. So uh knowing that they're playing in a different tuning, how did you kind of like come up with your side of the songs with that?
Well, we didn't hear each other's stuff at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we didn't
Okay.
share stuff at all. Like we literally like Jimmy and I recorded our drums.
Yeah.
I put them together and was like, okay, here's 3 songs worth of drums. Don't alter the drums. And that's it. And then Andrew, their drummer, did the same thing, wrote 3 songs worth of drums and sent them to me. And then it wasn't done. It wasn't until we were both done and we tracked our shit, because Meth tracked all their stuff in Chicago
Okay.
and we tracked all our stuff here in Michigan. And it wasn't until we were both done and we both had them like in a Dropbox and like simultaneously sent the link to each other. And Seb and I were both just like, holy fuck.
Damn. Okay. I thought you guys were like constantly like sending like pieces back and forth. So it was just like, hey, here's the stuff,
No,
go
nope.
Oh
at it.
yeah, it's quite
Okay.
the opposite.
Wow.
Yep. I didn't want to influence them at all.
Okay.
Like I was saying earlier, when I was getting ready, I hadn't even heard Andrew's drum stuff yet. And I was like, I
Hmm.
want to have like a stonery Black Sabbath fuzz sound. Like I didn't want to tell them that at all because I didn't want them to change what they're doing, you know?
Yeah.
So just yeah, it was too much fun. It's
Yeah,
like
that makes more sense now.
the suspense was killing me. Which even the best part too is like that makes those secret tracks, the ones where we're panned in each side, like
Mhm.
it makes those songs even more insane because like thinking about the fact that we didn't write any of that stuff together and you put them over top of each other because the drums are exactly the same on both the tracks, it sounds cohesive.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to like listen to that a few more times then and really dig out the minutia of it because that's way more interesting. And not that it wasn't interesting before, but like knowing now that like, oh yeah, that you guys did not like send each other stuff. Uh, that's fucking
No.
crazy that it turned out that way.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
Happy
That's it was
accident.
like it was like a social experiment. I mean, honestly, like ultimately Seb ended up coming up with the name for the record, but like it's so perfect, asymmetrics, because
Hmm.
like if you think about the asymmetric of your face, each side of your face, one eye could be bigger or your eyebrows higher up or whatever. Like nobody's perfectly symmetrical. And I just kind of extrapolated off of that, and that's when we decided to do the dual cover with each cover having a side of a face, and the physical copy is going to be really cool too because both EPs are going to be a single vinyl, and
Yeah.
it's like a gatefold. So the gatefold will open up, and you'll be able to physically see the two faces too.
Oh damn, that's fucking badass.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
but
vinyl.
yeah,
You guys put a
I'm
lot of
sorry.
work into the vinyl. I know we talked about this last time, but you guys definitely take all the time to do all that extra art and stuff, which is fucking awesome.
You have to. I mean, like there's literally people out there that will buy a record based on the cover,
Yeah.
and like also we're asking our fans to spend a lot of money. Like vinyl's not cheap. And we've put
Yeah.
out three in the last couple years.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody's putting out vinyl too. So I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like if you don't go above and beyond, like, what makes you so special that your fans want to spend the money on it?
Yeah. So how did you I know you guys just played shows with Red Chord, and how did Guy get involved with his parts?
Actually, that's funny you asked that question because so after we released Relapses and
Yeah.
we had Kyle Medina did a song with us
Hmm.
and Rich Lombardi from Sawtooth did a song with us. I'm not even kidding you. The weekend that it dropped, sometime in that weekend, Guy texts me and says, "Thanks for the invite on the guest spot." And I sent that to Fox and was like, dude, we fucked up. We didn't even think to ask Guy. You know what I mean? So I was just like, okay, man, next time we write something, we're going to ask you. And then this time I was like, hey, how about three songs?
Ooh.
And it's like, yeah, dude, they're all about it too, because they're kind of like in this position where they're like just getting back together and,
Yeah.
they're a bunch of old men. So writing isn't as easy as it is when you're fucking not busy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so
So
glad
yeah,
that
they're,
they're playing shows and doing stuff again. They were one of my
oh
favorite
my
bands
God.
that we ever toured with. Like, they're so much fun.
We just got to spend 3 days with them and Pig Destroyer.
Yeah. Jesus,
Uh,
man. How were those shows?
Jimmy.
Ooh. Fantastic, man. Um, it was I mean, especially, for all of us involved, like it was like a really big highlight. I know that like, Drew and them back in the day got to do a bunch of stuff with Red Chord and
Yeah.
they, they played with Pig Destroyer one other time at Maryland Death Fest, I think is when you
Nope,
guys
it
did.
was nope, it was on the Coalesce Daughters tour. They played
Oh,
our
Jesus.
Baltimore date. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they got to do that stuff, but I wasn't in the band at the time. So for me, not only being able to spend 3 days with like two bands that I, you know, focused
Fucking
on
love.
very heavily and like in my early 20s, like big time, but became friends like with two drummers that I am like I look up to in a way, like majorly. And I got to share my drum kit with both of those dudes, which was an even bigger honor. They were like, you know, the coolest thing was both of them complimenting me like on how nice my kit was. And I was like, dude, you guys are in Red Cord Picture. Shut the fuck up. Like,
Yeah.
like this
And
is like the coolest thing ever. And
Charn fucking tours with Behemoth for fuck's sake.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
yeah, like
Yeah.
and I've known him we've met like once or twice like over the years, but we have a very weird like circumstance of like having a small like same group of friends of knowing the same people. And it was kind of cool to
Isn't there
link that together finally. So
like a isn't there like a degree of separation or something like that? Isn't that what
yeah,
that is?
like
Something
second
like
degree
that.
of
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon or something shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
But like those shows were just awesome. And just being able to like sit and watch both of those dudes play every night was a huge like honor to like watch. I mean, they both beat the living shit out of the drums and but I think like Adam is like the behemoth of all behemoths. Like that dude hits the fucking drums.
Oh yeah,
And
dude. AJ is
it was just
crazy
so
good.
cool. It was
Was
I
awesome.
love that
everything
you can like fucking feel it, that they're just like giving it all they got on the
I
motherfucker.
can't I can't believe how fucking great JR sounds live, dude. His vocals
Yeah.
are like spot fucking on with the records. Like that dude doesn't skip a beat, never sounds out of breath, even though he looks like he's dying. But like, dude,
He's giving
he's
it all.
every fucking night they were perfect, dude. It was so cool.
Yeah,
It
that's
was
awesome, man. That's a good mix of like bands too. Like not everybody sounds exactly the same on there, which is nice. I like having some variety in shows.
Yeah, for
yeah.
sure. And everybody's heavy as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel
I'll
like
I know,
honestly
similar to
admit,
us touring with Meth back in a couple times over the last year. It's like him and I were like the was the last May
mhm.
we did
Yeah.
like 4 days in the Midwest together. And like after day one, Seb and I were like noticing like you guys bring out very different people than us.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
really, really cool because they bring out all these like fucking goth girls, and we bring out dudes that smell and wear too much camo.
We have some of them.
Huh. So go to
But it
Meth
works. It
shows.
worked. Yeah, it works out really well. And then we toured with Def Club and Meth at the same time, and there was a little bit of crossover between you two guys because Justin's a heartthrob just like you are. Uh-oh,
You're
Hazel's coming up.
making me blush.
Uh,
ooh, Sam.
Hazel, Hazel, come here, baby.
There's a dog
Yeah.
in outer space.
Oh.
Oh shit. Can't
Oh
wait to see
shit,
that. There it is. Dog in outer
Oh
space.
yeah.
this is Hazel Basil. Say
Aw.
hi, baby girl.
She's like, what?
Nice.
She's my Chewini, and she's my partner in crime.
Space dog now.
She is.
Freaking like
All
it,
right,
dude.
bye. She's like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be on TV, she said.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Seb, I was
don't.
gonna ask you, you just spent the whole year basically, like you mentioned, touring with Meth. And I follow you on social media and I see you've been getting into kind of like some short filmmaking stuff. What's your plans with that, man?
I don't know. It's kind of been like my main interest lately. Like especially now that the split's done and everything. Like the doing the video was like my first time ever really fucking with film at all. So like, um, yeah, I don't know. I've been talking with one of my buddies about working on some like short film ideas, but I don't know. I've just been kind of trying to like incorporate and fuse like just every type of art that I feel like I like doing, I guess, and just kind of just seeing what comes out. Like I have some ideas for long-term projects and stuff, but
Mhm.
like right now I'm just kind of experimenting and just kind of seeing what I can make, I guess. So
Are you
I
like
told sorry.
go ahead.
I told the guys when I saw your video, I was like, it was the best combo of Twin Peaks and Twilight Zone that I've ever seen. I
thank you.
loved it.
No, I felt like it was so fun to like make that because it was like I would get home from work and it would be like 9, 10 at night and my girlfriend would be like, like she'd be like falling asleep and stuff. And so like I just set up all these sheets in my garage and I would just go down and like just I was like I'm the fucking weird neighbor for like everyone right now that's just like doing this weird shit in his garage at like 2 a.m. and like there's a bunch of shit that I didn't like that didn't make the cut or anything, but I had this like there was like an hour of footage that I have of me just like dancing and like trying to do this weird shit and like I was just like I was like I don't dance at all, but maybe this will look cool and like a couple little clips made it, but it was just like I was just trying like to get myself uncomfortable and like there's that scene of me eating shit in there and that was like I literally went to Meyer or like the grocery store by us and bought a rotisserie chicken and just covered it in a like raspberry jam to give it just the weird fucking texture and shit. And I was just like scarfing that in my face, and like I like almost threw up after one of those
Oh God.
things because
Oh
it just
man.
like I was like but this is where you need to be because like a fucking idiot over here is like you gotta die by your art type fucking shit. So it's like yeah, just jam chicken in your face for your fucking like yeah, I don't even fucking know, but it's just it was just fun. It's been a nice secondary outlet to explore just some fucking weird ideas and yeah, the Twin Peaks fucking reference too. So like it's very like I a lot of that came like a couple days after I watched like David Lynch's like art life documentary that he has, and like I
Oh
was just
man.
like, dude, I really want to fucking like fuck with like his ideas of just like moving paintings and like having these like weird like abstract just approaches to things and just thinking very not rooted in reality in a lot of ways. So like I don't know, I just like the interpretive aspect of all of it, but yeah, I don't know. It's just fun. It's all fun.
Yeah.
It should be fun.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's why I wanted to ask about it, man. I figured it's
Yeah.
another endeavor, and I love film, so I'm always like interested in hearing what when people are starting to like experiment with that stuff and
Oh,
what they're looking for in it, you know? Because you mentioned David Lynch, so that's I fucking love David Lynch.
yeah, dude, one of my faves, and your Hereditary shirt too. Like that was probably
Oh man.
my fucking favorite. Like definitely like one of my top five of that decade for
Yeah.
sure.
Yep.
Just
That's
it's
that's what
yeah,
me and Jimmy said
just
too.
just absolutely just visceral.
There,
So,
there's so much emotion in that movie that is like when I saw it for the first time, um, the legendary scene in the middle of it,
mhm.
Hmm.
like when that lady is screaming, like I felt that in
Dude, you
such
can
a
hear
way.
it.
Yeah,
Yep.
like I
Yeah.
felt that in such a way that I had to pause the movie and take a time out. Like for like when that was over, I was like, all right, I have to gather myself here and get, some more Mountain Dew real quick and we'll come back to this. Uh but like yeah, that I saw his shirt, I was like, oh, that's so sick.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't really get to like I don't know, like movies don't really like weird me out or like get me too emotional. You
Mhm.
know, I love them and everything, but seriously, like exactly what you were talking about, man. Like after that happened, I was just like, I need a fucking breather here. Like this is
I need a
a lot.
cigarette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a goddamn crime that she did not get an Oscar or some kind of like nomination for that because she absolutely killed it in that part. I mean, she's incredible.
Yeah. Oh my God. Those screams, like
Oh,
seriously, Jimmy, like it's just like I'm yeah, I can just picture
You're
them
hearing them
clear as
now.
day. Yeah, I was like, that's all that's going through my head right now. Like,
yeah.
holy
Oh
fuck.
man.
Drew, you got to see it. Come on, man.
Yeah, you should,
All
Drew.
right. I'll try really hard. I'm not much of a TV watcher or movies or anything of that nature. It's very hard for me to sit down and actually like focus on something for that long.
Yeah. It's pretty long too. It's like over 2 hours. So
Yeah.
you got to
Yeah.
buckle
I
up.
did
You'll never
watch
make it.
I did watch like three movies this year, so I'm on a roll.
Nice. What'd you watch?
Um, The Gentleman, which is a Guy Ritchie movie.
Mhm.
Beetlejuice, because that was
Hell yeah.
fucking awesome. And the new Aliens movie too.
Nice.
Hell yeah. All good movies.
Yeah.
Dude, the Danny DeVito cameo in Beetlejuice was great. I didn't expect
Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Dude,
I just went
Um,
that movie was solid for sure. They did a good job for that.
what's
oh man.
today's date?
It's like Michael
Yeah.
Um,
Keaton never left the damn role.
I know,
no,
dude's for fucking real.
he got he got hawked out by that fucking sandworm and just, at
Yep.
the end of the first one, and he's just like, I'm still here. Um, but speaking of the alien Romulus, it is coming
Romulus says.
to streaming on Hulu
Hmm.
I think this Friday. So if you
Yeah.
Oh,
haven't seen it out there, people that might be watching this that are interested, if you have Hulu, I think it's this Friday. But it's
I'll watch
coming
it.
out
cool.
to Hulu soon. Real soon.
You know what else is coming out this Friday? None of you guys watch Creep, that movie?
Yeah.
Dude,
Hell
the
yeah.
TV show comes out on Friday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that for
I've
sure.
never
I'm
heard of this.
super fucking stoked. Dude, it's really good. It's like a found footage, like two people acting in it, but it's like super fuck. It's like one dude's essentially stalking the other. Very general explanation of it, but it's creepy. It lives up to its name, I think.
Yeah, the tension of it is all in that dude's performance of like you don't know if he's really what he says he is or
Yeah,
if he's like fucking with him.
yeah.
It's the
It's
obfuscation of it's great.
yeah. It's so fun.
Is it
I'm
streaming on anything? Not
I,
the new thing, but the
I think it's on Netflix. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll have to take a peek.
yeah.
Yeah, I went
Because
and
we're always
saw
looking for something
Heretic
new to
last
watch.
night if anybody's interested in knowing about
I
that.
am.
It
Wait,
was
I'm
what
it
is
was
it?
interested in hearing about it.
it was good. Hugh Grant definitely, I mean, wow. Probably the best thing I've ever seen him in. My only complaint is they just didn't go far enough with it. They could have really like went for it and they kind of like it seems like they chickened out at the end. But
Oh, they took
overall,
their foot off the
very
gas.
enjoyable. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was like they built up to this one thing and then it just kind of like went back to what you thought it was in the beginning and it's like, "Oh, okay." But that's fine.
Hmm.
It was still a great movie. So if you're
My
into
wife
that, I
wants
would watch
to
it.
see it, so
What
Wait, what
movie?
movie?
Heretic.
Oh, okay. My
not
brother was just telling me about this movie.
Yeah.
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 not Exorcist 2. Not
No,
Exorcist 2.
no. That movie doesn't exist. All right,
Oh,
gentlemen. I don't want to take up any more of your time. So seriously, thank you for coming on again. This was great. And Seb, man, thank you
Hell
for coming
yeah.
on. I've been wanting to get the dudes from Meth on all year, but I kept missing the window every time I get an email from you.
Oh,
It's good to
dude,
have you on, man.
you could always just hit me up directly too. I mean,
All
I'm
right.
happy to fucking just chat whenever, so that would be fun. But
Yeah, I'll take you
I'm
up on
glad we were
that.
able to make this work as well.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
I guess last thing, where can everybody? It's streaming now, but where can everybody get it when it's ready for purchase? Or is it ready for purchase?
Yeah, pre-orders are up right now
Okay.
at goodfightmusic.com.
Sick.
There's an ad on Foot Locker for the Asymmetrics vinyl. If you go through footlocker.com shop/Drew/feet, and
Uh-huh.
then
Uh-huh.
the code is Drew's feet, and you get 15% added on to the vinyl. So you just pay 15% more through Foot Locker.
Yep, yep.
oh
And that's it.
don't
You
forget
get
about the
And
code
that's
for there's also a code that takes that 15% off, so it's just normal price if you put LJS 42069. Long John Silver's 42069.
oh, dude,
Yep.
the Long John Silver's Cancellation Act. I forgot they passed that.
Yes.
I
Um,
miss some Long John
I will
Silver's.
also say this for anyone listening. If you can tell me where I pulled the two beats that I ripped off from 311, I will buy you a copy of Asymmetrics and send it to you.
Oh.
Ooh,
If
all
you can
right.
tell
That's
me what two tracks those come from, one of them, you're going to have a real hard fucking time.
I'm
So good luck.
gonna
Dude, I
clip
want
that and we're
I
gonna
already
put it
I
out there.
did I already
to.
I already talked about one in this episode. And
Well,
technically there's only three tracks, so the chances are only 50% after that.
right, but one of those tracks is going to be real hard for someone
Oh
to
yeah, yeah.
recognize where it came from in the 311 metaverse.
Oh,
Okay.
I see what you're saying. You got to say the 311 song that it's from also.
Yes.
There we go. I'm picking up what you're laying down.
Yeah. And if you do that, I'll send you a copy on my dime of Asymmetrics by See You Next Tuesday at
Ooh,
Matt.
Boom.
hell
You
yeah.
all heard it here. That's the contest. We're gonna clip this and it's gonna go around and I'm gonna get people to try and figure it out.
Hell yeah.
Good fucking luck.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know.
there are two people in this world who do know.
Uh-huh.
So, but those people, one is Rick Woods in our band, and the other is my friend Tommy. He would know. But
I
I
bet
don't know what song. I know what parts in our songs they are, but I don't know what 311 songs they're from. Yeah.
okay.
I'm not that cool. I listen to gore grind, so I don't know music.
Well, hell yeah, guys.